Good to be back once again, and welcome to yet another edition of Burning Issue here on the Happy Word of 5 FM radio. And we are live on 89.9 in Lusaka and the surrounding areas. Remember, Wave FM in Mazabuka, covering southern provinces, is also carrying this program live on 98.7 FM, and also Central Province. We are live from Kabwe on Spice FM radio on 91.1. Remember, we are also live on Tutor FM radio T.7. Give you an opportunity as listeners to call in and interact with our guests. And also, don't forget, live on our Facebook page, and that's 5FM Radio Zambia. And our YouTube channel as well is live. Look out for that. It's 5FM Zambia. And we will be getting your comments as well from that perspective. So make sure you drop us a comment, and we will be glad to read them. I'm your host, Zachariah Banda, and today my guest is Mr. Ackim Mweemba, who is the former president of ZUFIAW, and he is also a political activist. We haven't hosted you in a while now, but it's a pleasure to see you. Welcome, and it's good to have you.
Thank you.
Now, we will be discussing quite a lot, especially from your political activism point of view. Of course, a lot has taken place in this country, and of course, we will also focus on the performance of the UPND in government. So far, they have done a couple of years in as far as them being in government, almost 3 years now. So let's, at this point, get into the details. Politically, how do you rate the performance of the UPND, both on the political front as well as on the economic front?
Thank you. Maybe the Zachariah, the starting point, my man, for me is today is a very important day for Zambia.
Yeah.
You know that on Friday we were in Morocco. Our national team, our boys were actually battling for our country.
Right.
Today we are at home. We are expecting that the boys are going to reverse what happened in Morocco, and they will do justice for Zambia.
Right.
The expectation is that we want them to win the game against Tanzania.
Great.
Yes. It's been a while, yes, when I was hosted here. And we are getting into 3 years of the New Dawn government being in power. I think a lot has been done, but you will agree with me that we still have a lot of challenges as a country.
Yeah.
I think one of the challenges that we have as a country right now is the issue of failing as a country in 60 years to diversify the economy. Number two, it is youth unemployment. We have an army of youths out there that still look up to us as a society to provide for them. The poverty levels are still high. Inequality is still high. Also, we have not really done well as a country in the 60 years in terms of the issues to do with when you talk of decentralization. I think these are the challenges. Going forward, how do we address them? So for me, these are issues that are stuck in the economy, that are making the high cost of living that we are looking at or we are talking about today. But I would say the groundwork where we are coming from, the New Dawn government, they've done the groundwork. What is there is that these policies that they have done, have they matured that people can start having what they need as a society to live a better life. I think for me, that is very, very important.
What in particular are those policies? Some of them, if you can mention.
The first thing that the New Dawn government has done is the aspect of decentralization that we are talking about.
Through CDF.
Through CDF. If you look at what they have done, to make a decision that we are going to take policies, that the decisions should be made by the people on the ground. That decision, my man, is a very, very good decision. I hope we had done that issue a long time ago. I always say, countries like China, when you look at the current government taking over in 1949, by 1955, they had started the program of decentralization. And look at where they are. So when you decentralize like that, it means you are taking the resources to the ground. In this country, if there is anything that has been happening, is the issue of us depending on agriculture, and agriculture just for once. The people in the rural part of the country, they've always had money once. But with the coming of decentralization, with the coming of CDF now that we are taking the resources to the rural part of the country, it means now we are helping those people to have income throughout the year, which is very, very good. That is very, very good. One of the things that we have failed as a country is to decentralize. When the white man was coming to colonize us, he wanted our resources. When he left, we continued with what he was doing. So I would want a situation where, as a country, we needed to ensure we say, we are going to move away from this. What is it that we should do? My man, development is in stages. Stage 1 is a savage stage. Stage 2 is pastoral. And I know we have gone beyond this. Stage 3 is agriculture. Okay? You move on stage 4, it is agriculture, manufacturing. Stage 5, you do agriculture, manufacturing, and then you go to commerce. And even when you go to commerce, you look at commerce in two, internal and external. Now, the biggest problem that we've had as a country is that we have not moved in terms of agriculture, because any government anywhere, it can do anything. The role of the government, my man, is to create wealth. But how do you create this wealth? You can only create this wealth by stimulating production at home and buy as little as possible from abroad to come into your country. Now, from this statement, my man, you will agree with me that Zambia, it is the other way around. We have failed to stimulate production at home. Instead, what is it that we are doing? We are buying more from abroad and produce less. There is no way we can create wealth, my man, like that. Out of if you have the 10, okay, 9/10 of what you are consuming as a country is supposed to be locally produced. 1/10 is what you bring from outside. The moment you go beyond 1/10, you are now disturbing your foreign exchange as a country. Okay? You as a country, you need to have two things, my man, the monetary policy and the fiscal policy. But if you look at what is happening in this country, particularly in as much what we are doing with the foreign exchange, we are relying so much on the monetary policy to run our foreign exchange. What is it that we are doing for us to move so that we have a lot of things that we are going to produce, then we sell? By doing that, we are going to help a situation where we will have forex that we are going to, which we need so much in the country. Where you are there, my man and me, okay? Starting from where you have socks, you have shoes, socks, trousers, you have a shirt, you have a pant, you have a jersey there. All those things, my man, are things that were imported in the country. Now, we are 20 million Zambians. And all of us, in terms of what we consume, what we use in terms of clothes, 100% my money is coming from outside. That is unacceptable for a country that wants to move forward. So for me, the issue that we need as a country first is, can we talk of self-sufficiency? Once we talk about self-sufficiency, then it means the extra we are going now to do what? To export outside. So could it be that as citizens, because as citizens we have a role, my money, to play to ensure that this production we are talking about, we are the people who can produce this, my man, is the citizens. Now, the citizens should have the mindset that is attuned for them to develop their country, for them to participate in production that we yearn so much as a country. So as long as the citizens are not going to be attuned to this, to change the mindset that should help them to do these things, then we'll have a serious problem. My grandmother, as old as illiterate as she was, she would get, my man, a clay pot. She puts groundnuts there. She starts roasting them. After that, she puts them in the pounding pot. What does she have? She has peanut butter out of that. We used to call it tijonde, or we call it tijonde. We were eating. But this generation, where I'm seated here, I still eat tijonde that we are talking about. I still eat peanut butter that my grandmother was producing. But today, the peanut butter that I'm eating is coming from outside the country. How can we accept that, my man? Ground nuts, you roast them, make peanut butter. It has to come from South Africa. It has to come from elsewhere. So for me, I want to propose, and actually I'm advocating, when J. Rawlings took over as president of Ghana, that man was a military man. What he said was, can we have a situation where we have what we are going to call Operation Feed Yourself? So when we have Operation Feed Yourself, within 1 year, the people of Ghana were self-sufficient in terms of food. Then they had no problems. And the extra, they started exporting. Coming back, you have asked me a question that how do you rate the UPND? The UPND, in the 3 years where we are going, they have laid the foundation. But it is still a challenge that we have. The cost of living is very high, despite having laid the foundation that they have done. I would give them, for what they have done so far, I would give them 7% out of 10. 7 out of 10. This is what they have done. They have gone. The challenge is still there. The challenge is still there. Right now, this country has 2 problems. We have a problem of the rainfall pattern that did not do, and it brought 2 issues: hunger and the issue of electricity. One of the things that comes out already as a country, we are depending on water in terms of producing energy, 86%. The difference, is it 14%, is what is coming from elsewhere. This energy mix for the country is very, very poor. And it is high time we realize that as a country, we cannot continue relying on water. Water is a point of failure for us. There is a need for us now to look for alternatives. My man, from Gwembe up to Mapatizia, we have billions and billions tons of coal. Why haven't we invested in that? By now, we should have had a lot of companies that are producing in terms of coal, and then we should have invested coal that it should have given us electricity. Our colleagues across the country, across which is South Africa, of course they're having challenges of electricity also, but they are using coal. So even us, my man, the issue that we can go to solar, we can go to other issues that are going to give us energy, but we should know that we have raw materials in coal, and we need to move in that direction. everyone else, my man, is moving in that direction.
There was at some point, I will try and draw your attention to energy. I think at some point there were proposals and discussions in the public on the possibilities of the fact that we have quite a lot of uranium deposits, and as a country we should have actually gone the nuclear way in terms of electricity production. It brought a lot of debate and talk, and it looks like it has died a natural death. I mean, is that another option that you would feel that we can take as a country?
There, some of these things is just probably the perception. I'll tell you that we have grown up believing that to use, we used to have Zamoxine.
Yes. To use gas
as
for cooking
is
dangerous.
It's very dangerous. We were told that if someone is going to leave then in the room, you find the moment you're going to just put, is it the matches or what, you just burn. So those are, I don't know, but I think that it simply means, my man, the issue of civilization is about expansion of four things: population, geographical area, production, and knowledge. So probably we have not done well in terms of expanding our knowledge in this area, so that we start the myths that we see or that people talk about, so that we can remove them. How best can we benefit from gas? How best can we benefit from nuclear? It will be very, very important. I know that by now we have a lot of scientists who can come and explain all these things to help us. And if it is something that we can see and adopt as a country, I strongly believe that those are issues that we need to start moving in the right direction. So for me, I know that we have a lot of scientists, we have a lot of people that can help us in this area. The issue is that we have seen there are so many countries that are using it. So meaning, how have they managed to do these things? Of course, I know when we talk of the issues of Japan and what happened, and maybe the fears could be, do we have issues that can help us to once we have, say, a problem that the way it happened in Japan, do we have the capacity as a people to fight that? And maybe those are the ones. But I would say, if it is something that can help us, I think it is important that we move.
I think it's a mindset, because I mean, if we have witnessed a plane crash, it doesn't stop, and it has never stopped us from flying.
You know, I totally agree with you. So this is why I'm saying, is civilization, my man, it's about changing our mindset. It is about changing the way we perceive certain things. So if others have done it and they are benefiting, then we can do it as well. So I was talking about us relying on the issues of water, 86%. The mixture, my man, is the energy mix there. It is very wrong. It is important that we start expanding. We move in and start doing some of these things.
I would like to also, again, while we are talking on energy, I would draw you to the fact that, we had the president, address the nation through the press.
Okay.
And he spoke strongly about how this particular government intends to do things different, as far as electricity is concerned. So then he spoke of the fact that, first of all, they've scrapped out duty on importation of alternative energy materials, such as probably solar panels and all. And the idea is also that if you are producing electricity out of solar and you have excess, they are trying to set up a plan where excess electricity being produced by a household can be sent into the national grid, and such a household is able to earn an income, for example, from the national grid. But the issue here is, much as duty has been scrapped off from importing alternative power sources such as solar, the government, the public are still being exploited by the fact that the cost of these alternative energy sources is still high on the market. I'm trying to bring a debate to say that why then isn't it that when government scraps off duty on such products, I feel it has a right to impose price control on such? Why can't government take a deliberate policy and control the price of anything that is brought in whose duty has been scrapped off by government?
Oh, on that one, I totally agree with you. Is it just last week we heard that the government, they came up and said no one should be selling sugar at this price?
Yes. So and the debate was, isn't this price control?
No, but
maybe the people who are saying this is price control could be right. But on solar, where government has scrapped off duty, they have the right to impose price control, no?
My man, if you look at market economy, okay? Yeah. Market economy is just about three things, my man. You're talking of labor, you're talking of land, you're talking of money market. These, under normal circumstance, these three, we were supposed to have, they should control themselves. But at the end of the day, it is very difficult because we are human and we are greedy as a people. If you're going to allow me, from the labor movement point of view, I'll tell you that I'm going to dictate that I should be given so much. But it will be at the expense of the person who is the owner of production. The owner of production also would want a situation where he can maximize his profit by giving me little. The owner of land also wants rent out of what he's doing. So ultimately, you need to protect. We cannot run away from the issue of protectionism, my man. At some point, even in America, there was a time when America had to put, when it was seen that prices were just going up. For 3 months, okay? One president just came in and said, this is a directive now. For 3 months, you're not going to increase prices. It happens in a society, my man. You cannot run away from that fact. People are supposed to be exploited. Sorry, to be protected. So what the government is doing here is that they say, no, can you bring in this? The person who is bringing those items, my man, wants to make profits. So as a human being, he will want to make a queue. So it is important that the government just comes in and says, these are not going to be sold beyond this for this period, so that we help a lot of those things when they come in, then we have them as a society. Okay? Now, just talking about when you are talking about what the president mentioned there, particularly to the issue of electricity, one thing that I liked, I jumped when the president was talking, because I remember I appeared on one of the interviews, TV, where I was saying there is a need for this for government to consider net metering. It is happening and it is helping elsewhere. Where as an individual here, I'm allowed to go and buy the solar system for my home. Okay, I put it on my home. Then it is there. If I'm not using power, why should it be getting wasted there? I should give it to ZESCO. Okay? Once I give it, what is it that we are going to do as a country the moment we do that? Why I'm happy, and I hope we can actualize this thing, because it is going to help my man. As an individual, once I give it to ZESCO, it means at the end of the day, I'm going to have an income. Have you seen?
Yes.
I will have an income. Then number two, when I'm not using, I'm giving that electricity to ZESCO. It means someone else somewhere within the country, he needs the power, and he is going to get it and use it. So it means once we do that, I will not need ZESCO. But what will happen is that I will be giving, it is me who will be giving. Now, if you can imagine, if we just target my man, just 700,000 homes, and we say these are the ones that we are going to run with. Okay, we just come up with a number. These are homes that we are going to run. And each of those on a daily basis, they are able to give so much. How much can we be giving ZESCO? Okay, then mind you, there will be people who will be working to install those. It means we create employment in that space. Okay, there will be electricians that I will need also to come on board and do this job. Apart from me benefiting, the country is going to be, the ZESCO is going to be benefiting electricity for those that are not using it. We are going to create employment for people who are going to, above all, the people themselves who will be putting those things, they will have an income. You are just seated, money, my money is just coming. That's the kind of empowerment that we need as a people. So that issue that the president talked about there, please, let's move in that direction. It's a very positive move. And he also talked about putting together the pension houses, both public and the private pensions, that they come together. Once they do this, they pull their resources together, and we go and start having the solar plants. Here you have solar, here we have solar. How much are we going to help one another? These are solutions that this country needs. But above all, one thing, my man, that we have really not done well as a country is the aspect of agriculture. Let us go back to agriculture. And agriculture should not only be for 4 months in a year. Agriculture should be year around. We need to be doing this thing. Every month should be a month of planting. Every month it should be a month of harvesting. Once we do that, and then we should also now build the capacity in people. Most of these people who are on FISIP, when we help them these things, their production, my man, is too low. We have moved. It is simple. It also speaks now again to the issue that I was talking about knowledge. How can you be producing? You are given the inputs for you to do a 1 hectare. Then you are doing just 1.5 is what you are harvesting. And yet, these, under where we are, there are people who are going to 15 tons, my man. So you can imagine if, okay, we are not doing fine, our people are managing just 8 tons each per hectare. Where are we going to go? Where are we going to go as a country? We will have plenty. So that once we have plenty, the main thing that we are lacking as a country is exports. There is literally nothing, my man, which we can boast as a country that this one we are very good. Onion, we are importing. Bananas, we are importing. Oranges, we are importing. What kind of society are we? It can't be business as usual, my man. There is a need for us to move. So once you look at all these things economically, why we are having a challenge is because we have not done well. And this is why one thing I'll tell you, my man, one of the things that we have failed and why we are saying the mines we are not doing enough and all that kind of thing is because these other things we have failed to harness them. How I wish as a country, those people, colonization, my man, it will never end. Colonization, whether we like it or not, it will never end. Right now, China is coming here to come and put these malls that they are doing. What is it that colonization is about? Using other people's resources to develop yourselves. That's what colonization, in a nutshell, what it is. So it will never end. Even us, once we develop, at one point or another, we will have to identify one country that we can go and colonize so that we start using their resources to come here. So now, for me, these mines that have come, there is no need for us to start fighting. That we do a lot of things what the government so far for me has done with the mining sector. Let us move with it.
Which is
the way the mines, the tax incentives that they've given. Let us move with them. There's not, for me, that is okay, my man.
Explain.
You remember?
Explain
you
why
remember that today,
because
FQM, my man, is in this country. Chiruba gave them that these people, as they are coming, we are going to allow them that the mineral royalties they should be paying 0.6%. 0.6%. They had to bring their money here. Okay? So with what the new Dawn government has done now, I'll tell you, my man, they'll attract bigger people to come here. Let them come and produce. Today, as we are speaking, our colleagues, the neighbor, they are producing 2 million. Now you can imagine how much they are getting in terms of taxes from the 2 million production that they are doing. So even us, let us allow them the way. If there is anything that we have not done well in this country, it is the tax regime in the mining sector has been very, we have been very inconsistent.
Yes.
Every 2 years we are changing.
I know that.
We should know that policy consistency, my man, breeds policy credibility. And the policy credibility breeds investment in your country. Once you have investment, you are now having a lot of people that are going to be employed. The moment your people are employed, then you should know that you are moving in the right direction. People will have the standard of living, which is going to be.
But the debate that is mushrooming against that policy is the fact that we are not good at restricting externalization of funds, of profits and money. It's an issue because then also ZRA is being seen as one collector that has failed to collect the right money from these mines. In the recent, I think we've noticed that ZRA has come up with some sort of vigor in trying to make sure that they, curtail those that have been practicing tax evasion for a long time, and mines are culprits, and they have done this for a long time. And the cry of the people is, much as we are bringing in these investors, we let them free to externalize the money.
That point that you have mentioned, my man, that is very, very true. Maybe for me, the starting point is ZRA, so the Zambia Revenue Authority itself.
Right.
I was listening one time, the immediate past CEO for ZRA, he says ZRA has no capacity to audit the mines. I couldn't believe, my man, that we can have someone, we appoint him as a CEO. He goes in that institution. One would have thought that this person, the first thing that he is going to do is to do the SWOT analysis of the organization. Yeah. You look at the strength, you look at the weaknesses, look at the opportunities and the threats that are there. It is from that background that you come up with a strategic plan. Now, when he was the CEO, he did not see this. All the people who've been coming as ZRA commissioners, my man, they are coming up every year or what, they're having these strategic plans. The strategic plans they were coming up with were addressing what? We're addressing what, my man? So, yes, ZRA should be told in no uncertain terms that they can put their house in order. We cannot accept that, my man. To tell us that, they don't have the capacity to do this. You can imagine if today the former Bank of Zambia governor comes and says this Bank of Zambia has no capacity to supervise the commercial banks. Why are you there? Why did we give you that position if you can't do that, my man? So, yes, ZRA, one of the things I'm happy. You remember that ZRA, again, they're on record in one way or another to have taken Grenco to court. Yeah. And they won the case. Okay? So it means those people, it is once we build the capacity, they can manage to get the best out of the mines, my man. It is us now who are given a responsibility to be in those that should build the capacity in our people so that they manage to do what is good for the mines. Okay? We cannot continue. If what we are getting from the mines, my man, is very little, it is very little because we are not doing the right thing ourselves. It is not the problem of the mines.
But I would also want to draw you back to the fact that you've talked about tax waivers on mines, yes, obviously in order to attract investment, right? The aim here is to attract investment, but the problem is look at this is against how much we are losing out as a country. Don't you think that in those incentives we are losing more as a country?
No, this is one thing that I was building on when I was saying, let us allow the mines to operate the way they are. What we need to do ourselves now is to go in other sectors where tomorrow when we are going, one of the things why these mines keep on twisting us, my man, is because they know the moment we do this, this is what is going to happen. Okay? The previous regime, my man, says, no, we are going to have the issue that is there now, the deductibility of the mineral and
mineral royalties.
Yes, those people, what is it that they did? The moment we came up with that plan, my man, all they did was just to they stopped the production.
We're not making profits.
We're not making profits. And now, what did we achieve by that? Have you seen? So that's why I'm saying, let us be predictable as a country. Let's come up with these policies that are going to bring the investments in our country. Now, it is the misuse of the resources that we have, which is a problem in this country, my man. Okay, we borrowed 15 billion. If you look at the infrastructure, my man, that was done by the money that we borrowed, it's not moving. You borrow 15 billion, you come and have the infrastructure, which is just worth 9 billion or 10 billion. Where have you taken the difference? So it is these things that we need to curb, my man, so that we go into these other. I would rather we excel in other sectors. We were talking about us failing diversification. Let us diversify. Once we diversify and these other sectors start bringing in money, the day when we are going to go to the mines and say, this is what we are going to do, the moment they are going to tell us that we are not going to go by what you are saying, we are not going to be handicapped. We will go for them and then say, no, if you can't do this, because you have seen what is happening. You were asking me about these people. When they export, where do they take the money? The money remains there. But there is a piece of registration that we have failed to implement in the country. Where is it? It is because those people, they know how powerful they are. But we need to make ourselves powerful so that tomorrow when we are going to, he went there, he says, I've come here, I want to trade with you. Then they said, who told you that us we are interested to trade with you? He says, no, if you can't he was ready to go and fight. In a foreign land, my man, he forced them to trade with them. Even these things are still happening now. We are forced to trade with certain countries which we don't want. This thing, I bought it on Saraula. If today we said we don't want to get to Saraula East country, America will come for us. Okay? But in Japan, when they were told that this is what is going to happen, they did not refuse. They said, bring your items. What is it that they did? As a society, they sat down and say, now that these people have come, we are going to start producing also here. Let us find something that we are going to produce, which we are going to produce, and go and sell in their market. Today, as we are talking, there are companies that are coming from Japan, that are based in America. They are doing fine in that area. That is why I'm saying we cannot run away from this colonization. It has been there. We are not the first country, but we need to reorganize. We need to reorganize ourselves. What is it that we are also going to take to those people that have come for us? As long as we don't have anything, we don't think outside the box to think of anything that we are going to sell to those people, this challenge will continue, my man. It is important that, can we look around? Zambia in extent is 752 square kilometers, my man. 20% of that is arable. But what is it that we are using? Just a partly of that. Where is the problem? You and me, we should start asking ourselves uncomfortable questions. What shall we do if you are going to produce and you become self-sufficient at the household level? I become self-sufficient at the household level. Then it means the nation is going to benefit from the extra that all of us are going to be producing. Then where do we take that? We start taking it outside the country. The foreign Forex starts coming. In Botswana, across our colleagues, the diamonds, they are doing the value addition in their country. Us here, we are failing. Where is the problem? Okay, how can we be getting things? Countries, my man, are getting raw materials, but in this country, we are getting finished products. If you go to Carousel there, go and see. Carousel used to be a white elephant, but today it is not. People are opening. Amidst difficulties where people are complaining that there is no money in there, but others are opening things there. And they are bringing imported things, are things that you are going to find there. Coming from outside the country, we are bringing. We are not refusing that we cannot import. Let us import. America, they were importing in the 1800 somewhere there. They were importing radios and the TV sets from Britain. What is it that they went to do? They went to do reverse engineering. And they started producing better radios and better TV sets to start exporting. That is what we need to do, my man. So for me, the issue that we have in this country is change of mindset. Once we change our mindset and manage to diversify our economy from the mining sector, then once those sectors start competing with the mining sector, then it means we'll be moving in the right direction. Let us do. The issue that we can do is agriculture, we do manufacturing, we do commerce. And the commerce that we should do should be internal and external commerce. Then this country will be on the right track.
Mr. Ackim Mweemba is my guest this morning on the burning issue. He is the former president of the Zambia Union of Financial Allied Workers, ZUFIAW, but he is also a political analyst. And we will be opening the phone lines a little later for you to obviously participate in this conversation. Now, we are having literally a conversation here, and I've decided that we have a conversation and not heated questions on you, because I feel that an activist like yourself is here mainly to give real alternatives to the government with obviously a sober mind and level-headed approach to the issues being discussed. I'm glad that you spoke about production, especially versus importation of clothes, for example. I mean, there's I'm sure you are aware that the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, who I hosted not long ago here, he did actually make an announcement here that Mulungushi Textiles, for example, it's coming back to life. There'll be full-fledged production going on in as far as materials are concerned. This has been a big debate. Every political party that has come into government has talked about, it's been on their agenda to resurrect production, and as far as Mulungushi Textile, or indeed generally textile in this country, textile industry, most political parties have promised to revive textile industries in this country. But the question is, and the debate around this has been that once we resurrect the textile industry, it means that we are giving farmers great options of producing cotton like we always did, and meaning that we actually going to also introduce, ginnery, as far as our industries are concerned, to process that cotton into material. But the challenge is, and the debate has always been, that it's difficult for textile industry in Zambia currently to thrive because of the importation of second-hand clothing, right? And second-hand clothing is also believed to have been the reason why the textile industry in this country has come to an end.
Exactly.
So we need to strike a balance. So if textile industry is going to be revived now, we want to hear what are they going to do with what we are aware killed it.
Okay. Thank you so much. The issue of revamping Mulungushi Textiles is a very good move, but you cannot revamp that industry as long as you have not worked on what produces, what feeds into Mulungushi Textiles. So the starting point, and this is, I'm happy, the New Dawn government in this year's budget, if there is anything that they've done well, is to incentivize the cotton industry, that starting from the seed producers, the chemical the producers for what feeds into that.
Right.
They have come up with the incentives that are going to help those that are going to get into that space.
Yes.
So for me, I think that is the starting point, because my man, we are what the countries out there. Britain is what it is today because of the cotton industry. That is, even when you look at the industrialization that we talk about, the steam engine that started first, it was as a result of answering to the problems of the cotton. They wanted to enhance the cotton industry. So when you are talking about the way the government is talking about that, I am happy. My man, Zambia in 2010 produced 240 tons of cotton in 2010. Okay? In 2020, Zambia produced 20,000 tons. Now, the question you should ask yourself is, what is it that you did to a farmer? If that is what you are going to produce, it means you have killed. Mind you, cotton is a labor-intensive crop. Now, many countries that have done well, they have gone for labor-intensive crops in terms, because you know that there will be a lot of people that are going to come on board who are going to benefit from what you are growing.
Through job creation.
Through job creation. So it helps us to bring on board a lot of people. And when you look at the stages of
cotton
production, or you find first you start with the seed, then now you go the field, from there now you harvest, you go to the ginnery, you are taking it. Okay, even when you start producing now, and you are going to say you are dealing with the issues that are the curtains, the issues that are the sofas, you are dealing with the carpets, that all that, my man. Have you seen? So it means once you have a viable cotton industry, which is contributing effectively to your country, you will have a lot of people that you are going to help in the process. So I totally agree. If that is what the minister was doing, please, if we are going just to target opening the Murungushi textiles, we are missing the point, because the problem, it is the production. So let us first start production. And once we start producing lots, where we are now able to start even exporting, there will be no problem for us to export even raw materials. But we should go in phases. When I was still president of ZUFIAW, I remember I issued a statement where I said the government should consider closing or probably just banning the importation of second-hand clothes. I was hammered. The people complained. Okay? Because I just went to the end solution. Because there are people now, when you look at, they'll give you an argument that this is where we are getting our livelihood. We are creating employment and it is cheap and all that kind of thing. But what we are doing, when America is bringing those clothes here, they are using us to create employment in their country. That is what the point I was trying to drive at. So we need to be very, very gradual in the manner we are going to handle the issue of second-hand clothes. Let us first start production. Can we bring in a lot of farmers? And we should also now move, and that is what the New Dawn government is talking about, that irrigation now, it should not only be irrigation for maize. In America, they have gone further. Even irrigation, they've even started irrigating what? Cotton. So even us, we need to start moving in that direction, that we should not only look at cotton during rainy season. We should look at cotton that we can grow, which we can water because of the water that we have. We can irrigate. So the moment we are going to have production, you remember I said production, when we are talking about commerce, it should be internal and external commerce. So can we produce that will be giving to these ginaries and all that kind of thing? But at the end of the day, we should also start now producing for raw materials. Sorry, for people we can export raw materials. Once we do that, now we should now bring in the machinery that we can start using within the country. That way it will be easier. We need to do it gradually. Okay? So I totally agree with the decision to bring back Murungushi textiles, but Murungushi textiles should be brought because we have gone to take care of the farmer down there. And one of the things why the farmer stopped producing is because of the money. There is so much cheating. If you are going to be cheating the farmer out there, he will come out of that crop.
Yeah.
He's not going to grow it.
Yeah.
So let us help the farmer down there. We should pay him adequately so that we encourage him to grow more. Once we do that, it will be easier, and then as a country, we are going to put cotton to be something that we can go and start exporting. Once we do that, then we start bringing in machinery. Bit by bit, we bring in machinery to take care of what we are producing. But if we are bringing in machinery, that we should also start importing raw materials that feeds into Murungushi textiles, there's nowhere we are going, my man. It will be very, very expensive, and you will have difficulties for us to do that thing.
Once again, my guest this morning on the Tuesday edition of The Burning Issue is Mr. Ackim Mweemba, who is the former president of the Zambia Union of Financial Allied Workers, ZUFIAW, and he is a political activist. And we have him here in the studio, and we will definitely be seeing ideas in as far as giving ideas to the government in as far as how we can improve our economy. Now, at the moment, things are going with regards, foreign exchange and the performance of the kwacha against major foreign currencies is worrying. In this country, the only interventions that have been put in place are very temporal and cosmetic usually. How can we really, I know you will take me back to the fact that we need to produce and export, and it's the only way we're going to stabilize the exchange rate. But at the moment, in the situation that we are, I mean, what really is the solution that may look permanent in order to really stabilize our the performance of our currency?
No, well, the issue here, my man, we'll have to go back to the same thing.
Yeah.
Handling of the exchange rate, my man, is only two ways. You can either use the monetary policy, you use the fiscal, and the fiscal is nothing other than us producing. The biggest problem that we have here is production. I've told you that out of what the consumption of the country, okay, is 10th. Now, out of that, 9/10 we need to be, it has to be production within the country. Only 1/10 is what we, okay. I was telling you here that how can we have peanut butter coming from outside the country? How can we have mayonnaise coming from, my man, mayonnaise, or the ingredient that what makes mayonnaise, you need eggs, you need this cooking oil. You start beating it together. You are beating cooking oil and eggs. You are beating it. Then you bring lemon. Is what makes mayonnaise. But today, that process that I've mentioned, it has to come from outside the country. Honestly, it is change of mindset, my man, that we need here. Change of mindset. Civilization is about expansion of population, expansion of geographical area, expansion of production, expansion of knowledge. When knowledge and production expands, it leads to population. Population expansion, production expansion, knowledge expansion leads to geographical area expansion. There is nothing when you look at what I've just said, is what China is using now, my man. They have expanded. One of the things, again, that this country, we need to look at, my man, is that how many commercial banks do we have in this country? We have about, is it 14, 15 commercial banks? Okay. And all those commercial banks that we have in this country are foreign. I don't know whether you have ever taken time to look at this.
Of course.
Now, what makes this thing, my man, is that if you have 14 foreign companies, banks, it means your country has so many companies that are coming from outside to come and invest in your country. When Dangote was coming to start up a plant in Ndola, the first thing that was fronted, my man, was a commercial bank. So that the money that is going into that production, into putting up that plant, should come through your own bank. Okay? Your own bank. Then after that, it means also that the proceeds of what you will be getting from this investment should go through the same bank. Where? Outside the country. Now, if we have 14 banks that are like that, my man, it means there are foreign companies that have come to set up here in Zambia. And they are when they were setting up, they were using that bank to bring their money. It means they will be using that bank to do what? To externalize their money. It is as simple as that. Have you ever asked yourself a question? Why do we have Stanbic in Mukushi? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Why do we have Stanbic in Mukushi? Who are the investors there? Who are the investors there? And where are they coming from? It is as simple that we have Citibank. They will even tell you that we want corporate clients. That is from where? The corporate clients from where? It is from their country. So, as Zambians, let us change our mindset. We have these commercial banks that we have because they are coming to serve the interest of their countries where they are coming from. I was very surprised, my man. There is one filling station where I come from. That filling station, they've opened. There's even a supermarket. It is written Jara. I don't know whether you have seen those, yes. Jara. It is a program that you find on DSTV. I think it is from Nigeria.
Yeah.
You remember what I said about colonization? I said it will not end. It is there to stay.
But it's now called global interaction.
Yes. They are just changing the terms, my man. If you look at the way Britain was colonizing us, he was barbaric in the manner he was doing it. But now they've changed how they are coming to us to get things. The same things they were getting that time is what they are still following, my man. The same things that for today, Jara is from Nigeria. They've opened up the what here, and they are getting. Where do you think they are getting their money? By the way, have you ever asked yourself a question that even our brothers now from Rwanda, they have realized that we can colonize these people? They are opening up. When you go in these chiteni mwatu, upeza chabe pa nyumba pako pamene paja ati wamanga pa offense ndiye beve bali na shops pagulisa. They have a cooperative that they have done, which is coming here, and they are just using bicycles wherever they go, my man, to go and order. You and me, we can't do. We are seated. Mindset. So the question that you are asking, my man, about what we can do, please, there is nothing. You can even talk about now, uja governor kubanko of Zambia kulibe vamenazi, kulibe, ndiwe naine. What is it that you are producing, which we should sell out there? Do we have Zambians, my man, who are opening up who are opening up companies outside the country? Why are they not doing it also that they also take those wherever they go, so that they go and put up the bank in that country to start getting, so that they bring their money? It is because we have not moved ourselves. We have not changed the mindset. In England, my man, between 1850 and 1875, a man by the name of John Ruskin went to give a public lecture at Oxford University, where he told that you people who are here, the undergraduates, you have the privilege to get this education. But if you wanted to protect the tradition of England, which is education, this education that you have, it should be given to the downtrodden also. At the time I'm talking about in England, people, my man, were very, very disoriented. People were very annoyed with the leadership there. The crime was very high. So he told them that those people who are disoriented down there, take this education to them. You should not end there. Take it outside the country. Take education outside the country. That's how they started bringing the education to us. Do you wonder why when the missionaries were coming, they were opening schools and all that kind of thing? What is it that we are doing? They were protecting the tradition in England, my man. They were protecting the tradition of where they are coming from. They were doing two things: protect the tradition, and so that they continue taking advantage of you, and also get your your natural resources to take in those countries. When one of the students who was there in that, who received that public lecture from John Ruskin, was John Cecil Rhodes. The moment he completed, he started the uncharted waters, went to South Africa. He was not the first European to go to South Africa. No, he found other Europeans there. But because he had the will and the talent, he managed to get what? To get the gold and diamond mines there. And he started now moving north into Bechuanaland. There he goes. He was in Zambia and Nyansaland. The people, my man, who went to colonize, even when we are saying that Britain had the largest empire, the people who went there, it is the what? It is the private individuals and the corporate firms. It's not Britain that went to colonize. No. It is the private, the citizens themselves. So, meaning, what J.F. Kennedy said, that do not ask that what shall America do for me? It should be, what shall I do for America? In China, when Chairman Mao took over, in 1955, he started the Cultural Revolution. To do what? To change the mindset of the people. China is what it is today. It's because the leadership that came first, they changed the mindset. Of course, it was a failed project when Chairman Mao did the Great Leap Forward. But it is understood because he did not anchor industrialization on agriculture. When England started the industrialization in 1725, sorry, when they started the agricultural revolution in 1725, they never did any other revolution until 1775. That's when they did the industrial revolution. The industrial revolution of England was anchored on agriculture, strong agriculture. There were no casualties. But if you go to Soviet Union, when they did in 1926, when Joseph Stalin started wanted to speed up the industrialization, millions and millions of people in the Soviet Union died. Why? Because the industrial revolution of those guys, of Stalin, was not anchored on agriculture, where there was food for people who were working in the industry. The people working in the industry need food, my man. Okay? And that's why they died. And when you look at Chairman Mao in 1965, when he started the Great Leap Forward, it was industrialization. He wanted to catch up with the West. But because it was not anchored on agriculture, 30 million Chinese died. And that's how they started eating dogs. That's how dog meat. That's how they started eating snakes, babies. It is from that background. So, there is nothing we are going to do, my man. It is us getting into the basics. Agriculture should be combined with the manufacturing and the commerce. In 1950, Taiwan, when they started the reforms, they had a slogan, my man, where they said, cultivate agriculture through industry and develop industry through agriculture. So you can't go anywhere. Anything that you have to do, my man, we just have to produce. Zambia and South Korea at some point they were together. Why is this different? Can you imagine? Was it last week or the other week? I was reading that the first ever South Korea Africa summit. South Korea can have. Do you know what these summits are, my man? These summits are about colonization. The other time I heard, was it Fred Membe was in Russia, where he went for a summit, Africa summit. What do you think they want to do, those people? They want to find a way. How best are we going to get minerals from Zambia? There was even a summit, was it in Saudi Arabia? How best? So colonization is there to stay, my man. It is how we respond. There was no need for us to start hating those. Korea was a colony of Japan. Where are they today? India was a colony of Britain. Where are they today? You, what is it that you have not done as Zambia? Why we are in these problems? Mindset, my man. There is need for us to change our mindset. How we are going to achieve these things. We are only going to achieve these things, my man, once we change our mindset and apply to it. We need to be patriotic. You cannot say you are a patriotic Zambian when where you are there, you are not self-sufficient in using. Do you know that if you and me today we became self-sufficient, another person have where you are there, you are able to have maize that you can eat. Okay, you keep your maize all year round. I have maize that I can eat all year round. I have rape that I can be eating from my garden. I have onion that I can be eating from my garden. Do you know that the cost of living can come down? The cost of living can come down, my man, because the excess that people will be producing there will be looking, where do we go and get the market? When we are talking about commerce, my man, people now are graduating. Me, I'm a farmer here. I grow rape, I grow cabbage. But is there any market that you can talk about? There are people that grow, my man, they grow tomato. Was it a few weeks ago? Tomato had reached a box at 550. Yeah. From 550, it just comes to boom.
50 kwacha.
50 kwacha. That is where I have a problem, my man. You have it means as a country